Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Run In Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Big Mike, and I am joined, as always, by my brother, Sped Rock. What's going on, Sped?
Hey, man, every time I see our intro, I see you at Herb and Raj's house at the end, and it makes me laugh.
Yep. Special note that, like, the first scene in there, I had no power. I had no internet. My internet, they were doing work on it. So I had no internet in my house. Luckily, Herb from the Herb and Raj podcast lives about 5 minutes away. So he was nice enough to loan me his equipment in his studio. So I did the show from his house, and that just happens to be the clip I used in our opening sequence, which we are actually going to be changing here very soon. I am going to update a lot of the slides since it's an old format that we used to use. So yeah, we are going to be updating that very soon. Stay tuned for that over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I appreciate Herb and Raj for everything they've done to support the channel, including letting me use his computer and his camera and everything and his house. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. But as you can see, it is not just me and Sped, because we got some predictions. For anybody that's watched the show for a little while, you saw our WrestleMania predictions. And two of these guys, the Ultimate One and Brian, were part of those. There was a tie between those two guys. So we are going to bring them back in and let them battle it out for the crown again. And of course, we're going to add ourselves because it's our show and we can do what the hell we want. So it's the good thing about being the GM. We can add anybody into the match. We're going to add ourselves. May not be fair, but what are you going to do?
Hey, TC, you want to take my spot? I'm playing.
So we will have a fatal four-way for the WWE crown as we go over our Backlash predictions, but I cannot go without introducing them properly. I mentioned them both. First up, from the Chokeslam Wrestling Podcast, we have at the Ultimate One. What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
What's going on, brother? You know, I said I was going to grab the crown, but it looks like, I got competition. So, looking forward for these predictions. Definitely.
Hey, trust me, everybody wants this crown. I've had people DMing me, winking I'd be a part of it. They saw you guys on it, and they were like, oh, hell, this is serious. It's not just those two idiots that are normally on the show. Yeah, this really means something now that other people are trying for it.
I get it. All right, you guys see us two stooges getting the crown. You guys are like, hey, hold on here. That thing's beautiful. All right, I want it too, damn it. Yeah.
Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan. I mean, I did Eric Bischoff late in the day in WCW. I'll just add in Jeff Jarrett. Who knows? I'll add anybody.
Yeah, I was going to say Jeff Jarrett.
But our fourth competitor of our Fatal Four-Way, you know him from a Show Enough Divided, a podcast that goes on during the NFL Network. He has got time since the NFL is not here now. Brian, what is going on? How you doing tonight?
Doing all right, man. Doing good. Like I said, I want that crown.
Are you the one who's suing the NFL for $100 million because Shakur Sanders fell all the way down to the fifth round?
No, that's not me.
I think if you check the name on that legal document, I think it says Dion
or Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper. That's a good one too. It could be Mel Kiper.
Oh my God, that made me laugh when I saw that. I'm sorry, that crap made me laugh.
Yeah, the lawsuit just happened to be generated from Denver, Colorado.
Exactly.
We will say hello to a few of the guys and gals in the audience before we get started. First, I have to bring up good friend of the show from the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Cena has the chance to do the funniest thing ever and just slap the ref to get DQ like Orton did. Kind of a call back.
That's what I was saying last time. I was like, man, I hope they do that. Cena just slaps the dog crap out of the referee.
Yeah, that'd definitely be funny as crap. We also have in the chat Zach. What's going on, Zach? Hello. Thank you.
Good day.
Coming in. What's
mate.
going on?
Roxy.
Let's see. Okay, Michael from the Kicking Attitude podcast, who agrees with the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Really kind of appreciate you coming in, Michael. Make sure to join them every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central. Stay tuned for some guest announcements coming up on their show, maybe involving someone on this screen, maybe not, maybe hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Never know. We also have Lady Alpha in here saying hey to Zach. She has said hey to everybody else on the behind the scenes, which starts at 7:30 over on Sped's Twitch channel. make sure you come and join us on behind the scenes. It's a whole lot of fun. Got a few people in there chopping it up with us. You know, Brian and Ultimate One were both in there with us. So make sure you're checking out that content as well over on Sped's Twitch. Give him a follow, subscribe on Twitch, watch us there. Helps out the channel. We really appreciate it. And that's all the people in the audience for now. We hope. And TC, I forgot about T. Where are you at, TC? There you go. When we were talking about a little basketball, because again, behind the scenes, we talk everything but wrestling. We don't really talk a whole lot of that. So we talked a little baseball. I reiterated how much I hate the Braves.
That's fine.
Basketball playoff. So here we go there.
As long as you're not a damn Mets fan, we're good. That's one thing I can respect about you. You one right here, Ultimate One over here. He's not a Mets fan. He's a real New Yorker. All right,
Yeah,
he's a
exactly.
Yankees fan.
The Yankees fan. Yep.
And yeah, Lady Alpha. So John from Chairshot Sports, make sure you go check them out. He's actually had a couple of Backlash prediction shows. You can catch him pretty much every night of the week over on Chairshot Sports or on the Run In Wrestling Podcast Network. He is a partner of ours, or actually we're a partner of his because he actually is part of the Chairshots Media Group, which we are a part of as well.
They
But
stole
he's
my
been
shit.
predicting
Then.
that for a while. He's been predicting that for a while. Ever since the match was announced, he's been talking about thinking that would be kind of a funny thing. So he has actually said that too. I'm not saying he stole it from anybody or you stole it from him. Calm down, Sped.
Long Island. I'm gonna have to
Take
go to
a
Long
breath.
Island, aren't I?
Sounds like fireworks.
Nobody stole your idea. Calm down. It's free.
That's not true. All right, Tesla stole my idea for free energy, but I wasn't born yet.
Are you done?
You got it.
So just to derail this entire thing, we are going to get back into our predictions. Yes, 100% squirrel.
100% squirrels.
Yeah. We will go over each match of Backlash, which is this Saturday, and there you see that beautiful run-in crown on the head of Evil vacant. Unfortunately, he does hold the title right now since none of us could claim it, but we will vow to take it from him, and it will come home with me tonight. So we'll go from there. And again, only 5 matches. So obviously, guys, we want to make sure you know what you think about the match, who you think is going to win. People in the chat, let us know who you think is going to win as well. Sped will keep score. And at the end of the night, at the end of Backlash, we will all find out that I have won the crown and it will come back home to me. So, and it will be a great night of wrestling. Any thoughts on the card overall? Not any specific match, or actually, what match are you looking forward to the most? Before we get into predictions, Ultimate One, which match on the card are you looking forward to the most?
I'm really looking forward for the Randy Orton versus John Cena. My thing is, are they going to take the belt away from Cena right away and give it to Randy Orton, or they're going to still give him is either going to end up in some disqualification? I don't know. I mean, that's the one I'm looking forward to. That one and the tag team between Io Sky, Ripley versus Roxanne Perez and Julia. That's the one.
Wrong.
So I don't think I've seen that on Backlash. I don't think I've
Isn't
seen that on the card.
Tag team match?
That one hasn't been announced yet. If it does,
Yeah.
tomorrow night it'd be announced. But
Because I saw on Raw where Perez and Julia attacked Io Sky, so I know.
So I think they're going to set it up, but I don't think it's on Backlash. There's a couple matches, and we did do a little bit of wrestling talk because we had a debate too. A lot of people seem to think that
I saw that in the card.
Jey Uso and Logan Paul match was supposed to.
Let's take a look.
No,
I saw that.
Did we lose him?
He's coming back.
No,
He's doing
you see me now?
He was doing this thing
Yeah,
where he was
there
going
you go.
super
You
quick.
there.
Did you see
Yeah,
that?
you back.
You see me now?
Who
Yeah, you back.
was that?
That was me. I apparently my internet was my Wi-Fi has been a little stupid.
Everybody's Wi-Fi is being stupid.
See, let's take a look.
While he's looking that up, Brian, what match are you most interested in?
I'm more interested in the Fatal 4-Way just because, with Fatu. I mean, I don't want to, say predictions or anything, but I just think that'll be a really good match. That'll be a fun one to watch. with those four. Those four are pretty class. They put on good shows. So it should be probably match of the night in my opinion. But we'll see.
Sped, do I have to ask which one you're looking forward to?
Look, man, there's only one Mysterio on the card, and it's the one that matters. All right, La Cabra. All right, he's gonna take on Penta.
La Cabra.
All right, he's gonna take on Penta. Cut the internet because you're sharing.
La Cabra.
Look, me and Triple H, we've got a thing. I don't
man.
send out too much information to where it looks like I actually work for them, but you know what? You never know. What do they say in the wrestling business?
I'll even type
Never say never.
Never say never.
It out on X, La Cabra.
Did you find out what you're looking for, Ultimate One?
Yeah, I think when I last checked, they had it as part of the card, but now they don't. They
That's
don't
what we
have
thought
it.
with
Yeah.
the Logan
That's-
Paul.
So now they
stuff.
got, I think, they got.
Yeah, and that may be something that they did. They may have announced it at one point and then
The Mandela
pulled it back.
and then they took it out. Because I know,
Yeah,
I know I wasn't going crazy. Because when I go to a podcast like that, I prepare myself. So
Right.
I
I thought I was going crazy because I thought Jay and Logan were having a title match at Saturday.
Oh, Jay,
Jay Uso and Logan Paul.
wait a
I
minute,
thought that was
aren't they
title
having a
match.
title match? What the
No, they're not. We already
Yeah,
that's
they're
what I
not.
said.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean,
again, kind of the same thing with the tag team. They're promoting them to have one, just not at Backlash.
so the
Hey,
United
hey,
States
Mike.
Championship 4-ways, that looks like it's gonna be good.
It
Yeah.
could be Saturday.
I would
night main
imagine
event.
Jay and Logan. Yeah, I imagine Jay and Logan maybe Saturday night main event because they need to put a big match on that too.
Yeah, they do.
So that may be then.
Yeah, so to me, I mean, I'm looking forward for that Randy Orton and Cena match. That's gonna be interesting.
So since I'll do a different one, I'm actually looking forward to Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. I think that has a chance to steal the show. Both women can go in the ring. They have a lot of chemistry together. They wrestled in NXT, had a really good match in NXT. I do think legit they have a good shot of stealing the show. So that's the one I'll say I'm most anticipated for, since everybody else used all the answers I would have gone with. So, and what's up, Nate? We appreciate you coming in.
What up, Nate?
All right, Sped. I saw you show your paper. You got a pen that works, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. You
Yeah, I
ready to
was looking
go?
for my highlighter, but I guess my wife took it.
It's
Oh
fine.
no, it's right
you don't
here.
need your highlight.
Yes. I have all three of them.
Welcome to my world, gentlemen.
Have
What
a
I deal with.
She
Fighting
put
back
them
there.
in a different spot. Hey, this one's green. What's up?
Yeah, it means we can't see it because you're green screen.
I know. I fucking love it. You can't see my eyes now.
All right. Well, let's get to the matches. It's a very fun show tonight. First up, we do have Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental title. I will let Sped go last because it's pretty easy who you think is going to win.
Everybody knows. who
Ultimate One. Yeah, I'll let you go first, man. What do you think?
I think it's gonna probably be a good match, but I'm going with Dominic Mysterio because he just won the belt. They're not gonna take this away from him, especially the pop he got at WrestleMania. I think even though he's a heel, he's getting, people want to see him win. Penta, I don't think they're gonna give him the belt. It's too early for him to win that belt. So I think Dominic Mysterio is gonna give him his first pinfall loss. That's the way I'm predicting that.
Okay. Brian?
So I think, I'm going to stick with the same answer. I think Dominic Mysterio wins. I think Finn Balor gets involved here. They've been teasing it for a while. I don't think it's a full-on. I think it might be like a quote-unquote accident or something. Maybe somebody gets disqualified. But Dominic Mysterio is going to keep the belt. So I don't know if that matters. You know what?
I mean, it kind of does matter.
It does. It does matter. And just because, no, you know what? I got to stick with it. I'm not going to do it. Dominic Mysterio's going to win the match. I was gonna have Penta win in a disqualification and Dom have the title. So I don't think. But I don't. I'm not gonna do that. No, Dominic Mysterio's gonna win.
I feel like I need to be Regis Hillman. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, straight up. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, I got.
Do you need to phone a friend? Do we need?
I was gonna ask that.
There's a crown at stake here, and my mind is playing tricks on me. So, yeah, no.
Which is not. That's what he says. Not a bad thing having Finn Balor getting involved and cause Penta to win by disqualification. It's still, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not. Dominic's not losing anything because they've been teasing a breakup of Judgment Day. That's what it looks like. So,
Yeah, and that's a very WWE thing to do it like that. I don't think they do it yet here. I do think maybe Finn or somebody in the Judgment Day gets involved. You've had a lot of stuff with JD, stuff like that just coming back. I think there is a lot of shenanigans, much like Michael from Kicking Out at 2 says, and I do think Dom wins this one. I would love to see Rey Fenix maybe come out for a spot if they, with all the Judgment Day getting out, maybe him cleaning house and them teasing that, because I do know they want them together after whatever the draft is. So I wouldn't mind seeing a tease of the Lucha Brothers in action together a little bit. But I do ultimately think Dom wins. The kid's good, as much as I hate to say it, because I hate how much I'm going to hear it from Sped. The kid's good. He deserves that title. That's also, too, a Grande Americano after what happened on Monday, that he could very easily come out. Yep. I'm going to go Dominic Mysterio. Sped?
All right, yeah, I'm definitely going Dom. There was no doubt about that one. And listen, this is the night where the Judgment Day does separate. And Grande Americano does make his entrance, his presence felt, all right? The whole Chad Gable, Penta thing going on right now, that's just a little setup to the Americano, mass for mass match that's about to happen, all right? However,
I'm sorry. Hold on. I need to correct you and myself. You mean WWE Speed Champion, Grande Americano?
Yes, right, WWE Speed Champ. All right, but no, what I'm saying is, he's bringing that speed. Yeah, what I'm saying is this: this is the night where the Judgment Day does break up. Backlash is the night where they break up. All right, the originals are gone. Rhea gone. Priest gone. Who's next? Just Dom and
Edge gone.
Edge started it, but Dom and Finn, boom. Who's going to be the one that's last one standing by itself with JD and Carlito? It's going to be Finn.
Yeah, I think they want to wait until SummerSlam to really make this kickoff, so I think they're going to kick it down the road. So I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens on Saturday.
I think it happens this weekend. Then we get a number one contenders match between Grande Americano and Finn and Penta for the number one contenders match of the IC title. Okay, triple threat.
And AJ Styles, if you watched Monday.
AJ said he's next in line. So that tells me Saturday night main event or Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. And then that right there, you can set up the three-way, all right then and there for SummerSlam to face Dom, And that's, Finn can win it. And then you got your SummerSlam, because that's where I think these two go at it like you do. I think those two go at it, Finn and Dom, at SummerSlam, and they're going to play it up as mentor versus student, because Dom has been a student to Finn this whole time,
Yeah, but I want that to be for the IC title with Dom holding it. I want Finn to beat him at SummerSlam for the IC title.
I don't want Finn winning that title at all.
No, you don't. You don't want Dom to lose it. You want Dom to keep it forever.
I do.
I mean, that's fine. As long as he never holds a world title, he can keep the Intercontinental title forever.
As long as, it's just like how I say Jade Cargill looks good with championship gold around her. Dom looks good with championship gold around him.
I don't know if I've ever heard you say that, to be honest.
I've always said Jade looks good with championship gold.
Jay still needs
maybe those are like Randy Orton. Maybe those are the voices inside your head.
Jay needs more practice in that ring. She still looks green.
Yeah, she does. She definitely needs some more time.
That TBS title was beautiful, when it was around her. It looked good. And then, having the tag team championship around her, it looked good. Silver and gold looked good around her. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Next up, you have the grudge match. The ring general Gunther versus the ring announcer, or I guess ring commentator, Pat McAfee.
The punter.
The punter. Yeah, there you go. The gridiron. Brian, you're up first. Who you got?
Man, obviously, you see my background, and I'm not going against him this time. Okay, I went against him at Mania just because we all knew what was happening. This time, I'm not doing it. Gunther's going to destroy him. I think this could be a possibility to get McAfee off and get ready for football season. It could be. Because
that'd be early, though.
It would be very early for that. Maybe he's got something else going. I think that if there is any Goldberg, it won't happen Backlash. I think Gunther comes out and gloats about on Raw how he just destroyed McAfee and all this. And then if they're going to tease him and Goldberg, then they'll do it on Monday. He'll come out then. But I don't think that's happening.
Did I not hear something that like Scott Steiner's going to be in McAfee's corner, or is he helping him train or something? Like, is Scott Steiner going to be on the show?
I think he helped him train. I don't think he's going to be on the show.
I never heard anything like
No,
that.
I doubt it.
No, he was the one. I know what you're talking about. He tweeted it out, and he's helping him out. It's what he said. He's training him right now, and everything.
Yeah, because he was on McAfee's show.
Yeah, he's training him to be a genetic freak. So if he comes out with a mountain of a freaking arm, all right, then what he already has, and another mountain on top of that, we all know he took steroids.
Before you move on, I mean, there is always that chance that he gets screwed. And Gunther can afford losing and still be amazing. Like as I said, losing in general for him, it doesn't hurt him in any way. I don't think, because he's great in the ring regardless, and he's great on the mic. So he's not going to lose anything by losing. I just don't think they're going to do it after he lost at Mania. And he got choked out at Mania. I just can't see it happening. That's just me. Gunther wins.
Yeah, I think Gunther wins as well. I think he ends up, trying to choke McAfee out, and actually does choke him out. I think it's going to be one of those instances where they want to keep the story going too, where they can still have McAfee kind of poke fun at Gunther and just piss him off even more, because Gunther's going to look like a crazy person. You're going to see a lot of old Walter in this. And I think he's going to make McAfee pass out, but I don't think McAfee taps, oddly enough. Because of the whole I'm doing this for my friend thing, I'm loyal, all this, I think he actually makes him pass out. That way, in the future, if they want to tease anything else, they can always say, yeah, but you tapped out and I didn't, big boy, or whatever he wants to say. But I do think, I mean, I don't want to say it's a squash match, because I know they don't do a ton of squash matches anymore, or at least what most people consider squash matches. But I was thinking, yeah, I mean, it's Gunther. Gunther wins in a fairly easy match and just destroys McAfee, and then goes from there. Maybe Goldberg gets involved later, but I don't think it happens tonight. Ultimate one, who you got, brother?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, with except that part of the Goldberg will appear at this show. I mean, I see Gunther winning it and whatnot, and I mean, it could be a situation where Michael from kicking out at Zeus that, Michael Cole could get involved and distract Gunther and he gets pinned. But I mean, I don't see that sounds like a good thing too. But I think I don't think McAfee's going to get his torch in there, and Gunther's going to win, and then how you call it, and then he's going to try to keep hurting McAfee, and Goldberg shows up. That's the way I see it.
I can see that too.
All right. Years ago, we saw Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero, right? Who joined in and helped Eddie win that World WWE Championship? It was freaking Goldberg, right? Goldberg is going to, if he joins in, that's fine. But I see Gunther destroying Pat McAfee, like everybody's talking about, and some crazy-ass WWE thing happens, and McAfee wins. I got Pat McAfee beating Gunther in some shenanigans, beyond shenanigans type of wrestling match, right? I still think Goldberg still interferes somehow, and I don't know why, but I do. Go on, Pat.
Ultimate one. Sorry, I was trying to look up something. You picked Gunther as well, right?
Yeah, I picked Gunther, and like I said, I could see again McAfee probably getting his ass whooped in the ring, and then Gunther pins him, and and then Goldberg shows up. But Gunther trying to hurt him even more. So that's the way I'm looking at that.
What's up, Urban Raj podcast? I mentioned earlier in the show, good friends of ours. They come on every Tuesday night at 8:00 Central. Great, just overall sports podcast, mainly focused on Alabama football. They do have a lot of other teams and stuff like that coming on. So make sure you check them out every Tuesday night at 8:00. And they have a Saturday night where they kind of do whatever. Saturday night around 7:30 normally. It's they call it Urban Raj Unhinged After Dark. So it's really whatever they want to talk about. They talk a lot of NBA, just whatever's going on at the time. So hopefully they'll talk a little Backlash because maybe they'll be watching it during the show. So you got everybody on this one, Sped?
Yeah, I'm the only one going Pat. It's gonna be my title right here.
You're both kind of spaz-like, so it makes a lot of sense.
I know, right? Damn.
Next up, you have the match that I said I was most excited for: Lyra Valkyria defending the IC title against Becky Lynch. Sped, you're up first. Who you got?
Man, I'm going with Becky freaking Lynch. All right, look, I love Lyra. I do. All right, but Lyra versus Becky, like you said, was a great match in NXT. Beautiful match in NXT. But this is the main roster now, and Lyra's IC run has been like, it's been alright. It hasn't been the greatest. All right, if we're gonna be real here, for the new titles and everything, then Chelsea Green made her title more relevant than the IC title. That's just me. All right. I think Becky wins this one on account of she's just better. Right? She's just better. She's the man for a reason. She comes back, she gets this pop. She's still getting a pop, even though she's a freaking heel. All right. And everybody's loving her. All right. People are done with the call. No, we're done with the experiment. All right. We're done with it. Go for something else. I'll do a whole potato gimmick if you wanted me to.
You don't have to. You're good. Look, they're obviously teasing Bailey and Becky. I think that's going to be one of your money SummerSlam matches.
Yep.
Bailey and Becky for the Intercontinental title. So I think Becky takes it here. And then you start that program after Backlash and then lead it up to SummerSlam to where they finally have their blow off for the IC title. Bailey has said in interviews that she wants to win that title and the U.S. title so she can regain her Grand Slam champion status because that was kind of taken away from her. One thing we don't talk about a lot, she was a Grand Slam champion, and so was Becky until the two new titles were entered in. So now you got to win those two titles to still be a Grand Slam champion. I would hope Bailey does that and then gets moved over to SmackDown where she gets to win and becomes the first ever new Grand Slam women's champion. It's starting off with there. So I think Becky wins, and then Lyra can go off and do some other stuff. So I'm going with Becky Lynch here. And again, what I think could be match of the night, just because both of them are really good in the ring. Really? Ultimate one, who you got, man?
Well, I got Becky Lynch. I got Becky Lynch winning it for the simple fact that the last time that Valkyria wrestled Becky Lynch was for the NXT title, if I'm correct.
Yep.
And she beat Becky for the belt. So now they're going to turn it around. It's going to be a good match. Great. But they're going to turn it around and they're going to give the belt to Becky. I see Becky's going to win it because I think she has more experience. And she's going to pull our sign out of the hat and she's going to end up winning that belt.
She's going to make that title relevant for once.
I mean, it's only been around for like 6 months, so it's not
still,
like it's
6 months of irrelevant. Okay.
I'd say about 5.5 months of irrelevance because
you're right.
Even though I don't like Becky's heel right now, I don't like it at all. I personally think it's not working. The one thing it is doing is making Lyra look a lot better because Lyra has looked really good the last 2 weeks, and when she's going up against Becky on the mic and everything. And I always knew Lyra was good on the mic. NXT, she actually did a great job. I felt like they just didn't have anything for her, and that's why they've really done her a disservice with that title. And so only because we can't have all ties, and I think we all know where we're going in the next match, I'm gonna be the one person that takes Lyra in this match. And I'm going to take it because Becky brought up Bailey's name multiple times. How she straight up said she attacked her. I think Bailey cost Becky this match. I think somehow she cost her this match. Even though she wants that title, she's probably going to get that Intercontinental title at some point. But I think Becky is not going to be for the title. I think that feud will be without it.
Okay.
So I'm going Lyra.
I can see that. I thought about that as well. I think it's too early for Bailey to come back from her injury.
Could be, but
very heavy quoted injury.
Bailey's
I don't think she is. I've heard reports that says she's not. I did say right after it happened, it's very odd that they gave it a specific name on the injury. Usually they just say it's like an upper body injury or something like that. But when they actually said she had like a torn or something wrong with her shoulder, that kind of made me second guess it. But I don't think so. I haven't seen anything. Of course, she's been media silent too. So who knows?
I don't know about that.
Which is a good thing.
She had a post earlier from a guy who said, Bailey, I heard you were looking for love or something like that, like relationships. And she's like, you don't even have a freaking picture. Get out of here. Yeah.
She's been media silent on anything that's important.
Yeah. Right. Anything wrestling related. And I think that might be for a reason. I think a lot of people, appreciate it, Herb. Appreciate you. I think maybe that's a something that they're doing on purpose. Not that you'll forget about Bailey because Becky brings her up every single chance she gets. But I think that's something that a casual person might be like, where did Bailey go? And then Bailey shows up at Backlash, costs her this match, because she's the one that, that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. And I wanted to go different than y'all because that's the only way I'm going to win the title is going off.
You got to look. So. You can't win if you don't swing.
That's why I went for the fences with Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the line on what was it, the Raw Rewind, where she talked about Bailey so stupid that she's probably paying her best friend $100 to text her. That
was hilarious.
That was perfect.
God, that was funny.
That was peak heel, peak heel. So and I think she knew at that point, Michael, to your point, I think she knew during that interview she was getting pulled from WrestleMania because this was like the day before or maybe 2 days before that she did that with CVV. So I think she knew that was coming because she started to say something and then she stopped herself because she knew she couldn't talk about it. So I think she knew that was going to get pulled, but I don't think it was anything about how long she was going to be out there. So yeah. Next up, we have the Fatal 4-Way, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu for the U.S. Championship. I guess it's my turn to go up first on this one. Pretty easy in my eyes. It's Jacob Fatu, all gas, no brakes. You know what I mean? Can't go anywhere else. Got to go with Jacob Fatu here. I mean, he's one of my favorite wrestlers, and none of these guys deserve to beat him. Ultimate one, who you got, man?
Oh, I got Jacob Fatu. That's my boy right there. And right now, he got so much momentum going for himself. Matter of fact, since he entered WWE, that his momentum, what he brings in that ring, and it's going to be very entertaining. Especially seeing him go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre because Drew McIntyre. This guy he's a beast in there. As much as he doesn't get the recognition, but he's a beast. But him and Fatu going in that ring. That's going to be cool because, I seen him already with LA Knight. I seen him against Damian Priest. But him against Drew McIntyre, that's something fresh that I want to see. But I got Fatu all day.
Brian, who you got?
I'm going to go with Fatu. I don't see them taking the belt off of him. There are things that can happen in a 4-way, so anything can happen in this match. And I think, not to say this, but I think the United States title is a little below Drew McIntyre at this point. That's why I don't see them putting the title on him. I feel like he should be more, not that there's a chance for him to be, but I think he should be in the world title picture and not the United States title picture. And LA Knight's not going to win it back. He just won it twice. He's not going to get it back. He might be a sneaky Money in the Bank selection or something. I don't know. Damian Priest's not winning, so Fatu's going to win this. Does Solo get involved, and how does he get involved? And does it set up more like friction between them two? But Fatu still wins. I don't know, because at some point we got to see Solo and Fatu. That has to happen at some point. But they're dragging that out, and I think they're going to drag that out for a little while.
I mean, that seems like a SummerSlam match as well. I mean, again, you got 2 nights of SummerSlam. You got to put a lot on there now. Yeah, just like you do WrestleMania. I mean, I could see that being a very big blow off happening at SummerSlam for the U.S. title. So, and don't forget, you still got Tongaloa is supposed to come back at some point. So, does the real tribal chief get involved?
And the thing is that I don't know why they haven't brought in Hikuleo. I mean, he's been signing with WWE.
Yep.
and yet he's still. It's going to be almost a year that he's been signed,
Close to it.
and they still haven't brought him in. I don't understand that.
You know what? I mean, I know this is like far in the future, and it could be just fantasy booking, but maybe they're holding him off basically for that SummerSlam match, and Fatu's about to win, and then Solo's like, my boy, and then boom, he comes out and somehow he helps Solo win or something. You know, I don't know.
See, I'm still with though. They've said from the beginning that Hikuleo or whatever he's going to go under now is going to be in NXT. I thought maybe because they've done a couple of other surprises this week, I thought he was going to be in the Battle Royal, maybe win the Battle Royal in NXT and be Oba's challenger.
Yeah.
Not that I'm mad at Miles Bourne. I know, Brian, you and I kind of talked about that it was kind of out of nowhere. I mean, I like the story the way it's going there.
Loved it.
But I would have liked for him, especially after somebody that we'll mention a little bit later got pulled out of that match for reasons.
Yeah. Right.
That maybe he was going to be the replacement, and they introduced Hikuleo and then let him go. Because I wouldn't be mad at him coming in, being the new guy to beat Oba before Oba gets sent up to the main roster. Maybe at the next Battleground or something. But it is weird that they've had him so long and haven't debuted him anywhere, even if it is in NXT.
Yeah,
you've had plenty of chances.
Anywhere.
I mean, he could have been part of Dark State and for a little bit of time and been like the leader of that or something. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could have introduced him just to get him on TV in front of people to have him come up. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird.
WWE got that they doing that. They have the AEW virus, the bloated roster.
Right.
Glad you made it home, TC. Glad you made it home safe. He thinks Fatu's winning this.
By the way, just on like a side note before you move on, just speaking real quick about Miles Bourne, I think it's kind of funny and really kind of cool that like only a couple of weeks ago when he was doing the Randy Orton slams, that the crowd was chanting, "You're not Randy, you're not Randy," right? And then all of a sudden, in a couple weeks span, now they're chanting "Baby Randy." Baby Randy. At least they did this last week. I just love how the crowd has already gotten behind him. That's kind of cool. So,
yeah, and I'm interested to see where that goes. I mean, I know we're not focusing on a whole lot of stuff. Obviously, you guys see there's no SmackDown, Raw, Dynamite matches because we wanted to focus on the PLE and then some of the other stories that have happened around the wrestling universe. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that story goes. You know, who ends up leaving the NQCC, how that ends up. Because that whole thing with him and Charles is very, or Charlie Dempsey, whatever, is very interesting. With all that said, Sped, I don't think I got your prediction yet. Who do you think wins this match?
First, I was gonna say some Ultimate One. You were saying he was white hot, Fatu. I thought he was white hot way before he got in WWE. When he came out of MLW into WWE, people, and that's just for the casual fans out there who don't know. That dude was stupid hot in MLW before he came over to WWE. So all this stuff that you're seeing, the real fans are all like, yeah, we know about this guy. And all you guys are like, dude, where have you been? You know, it's like you guys were asking about Penta and Ray. We kept telling you the whole time, wait till Ray Phoenix gets in. Then you guys are going to be like, okay, time out. That's a technical foul for holding these guys out all this time. All right. Now, it's going to be the same way when they bring in, you know, the rest of the people, you know, Zilla, everybody from that family. Once they bring in the rest of them, it's going to be a treat for you guys. But I do got Jacob Fatu winning this for the same reasons. There's no way they're letting boring ass gimmick infringement LA Knight win it. You know, Damian Priest, he's good. Don't get it twisted, but he ain't winning it. And like you said, this is beneath him at this point. The United States Championship should never be on Drew's shoulder whatsoever. It should be either World Heavyweight or WWE at this point for him. But Fatu is just a freaking beast right now, and everybody and their grandmother is getting a damn treat this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the main event: John Cena versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Champion or the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Ultimate One, you're up first on this one.
You got to give me the hard one, huh?
Damn you! Why you give them all the easy ones?
I want to go with John Cena for the simple fact I can't see Randy Orton beating. It's probably John Cena's going to win because someone's going to interfere in that match. It's going to cause Randy Orton a match. I mean, because I don't see John Cena losing that belt right away. They're going to run with this because then it won't make no sense of him winning that belt in WrestleMania and then losing it in the next pay-per-view unless WWE is trying to make up for The Rock not showing up and the way that match ended. It's left everybody wondering, leaving them like, what happened? So I'll go with Cena. If Randy Orton wins, I won't really be surprised, but I don't see him winning it. But John Cena keeps the belt.
Brian, who you got?
So let me just tell you, I'll be surprised if Randy wins. I will. I'm taking Cena 100% here. And in fact, I think fourth down podcast is right. I think he's right. Cena told us all along they do this on purpose. WWE does it on purpose. Cena, what he says it on purpose for the future. He said one thing. He said, "I do not have to wrestle. I just have to show up to my 27 appearances," or whatever it was. So I don't think he's going to wrestle. I think he's going to get disqualified in this match. I think it's just going to be a quick, I don't know how long. I'm not going to predict how long they'll be in the match, but there'll be this stare off. There's going to be a face off. They might push each other down or whatever. Who knows? They might do a little bit. Randy will get the upper hand on Cena just a tad, and then I think he gets himself DQ'd.
So you actually think Randy Orton will win because it'll be a DQ against John Cena?
Oh shit! Yeah, I guess
Because at first
right.
you said there's no way Randy Orton wins, and then you said this whole scenario where Randy Orton wins.
Okay, all right. Yeah, give me Randy.
Let's rewind.
Cena keeps
No take backs.
Yeah, no, right. No. You're right. I don't. My mind wasn't thinking.
So wait, you're going to Orton
if
or
he slaps
Cena?
it gets right. I know. If he slaps him, he gets disqualified. He keeps the title, but he doesn't lose it. But okay, so Randy Orton does win by disqualification.
Okay.
Write it down.
I just wanted to be clear. I wanted to make
That's
sure.
my
'cause
fault. Thank you, Big Mike, for clearing that up.
I try.
I knew what I wanted in my head, and I just said it.
So we got Orton via DQ. That's what I wrote down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
No
there you go.
yeet. No yeet.
No,
All right.
no yeet.
I'm going Cena. I've been saying it. He's been saying he's gonna make wrestling dumb and boring for everyone, and he's gonna just make it. He's gonna kill it. One way to kill it is getting by your favorite character out there, Mr. Yeet himself, to join you. All right, he's gonna got a match. No yeet. He don't got a match. All right, he don't got a match. No yeet. And it seems a little fishy after watching Royal Rumble that Cena just stood there, looked back, and waited for Jay to push him. So something tells me he's owed a favor. All right. I think Jay's
Here we go with the favors again.
This is the favorite.
Wait, this isn't the
era.
storyline where favors come out. That's all.
Listen,
storyline. Wait a minute.
Listen. It's just a thing, all right?
It's the favorite era.
It is the favorite era. No bloody yeet. I'm getting that tattooed on me. So anytime it happens, it'd be like that guy from We're the Millers that says no regrets. Yeah.
So you're going Cena with help from his newfound buddy Jey Uso.
Yes, I am. I'm going Cena.
That may be the weirdest prediction I've heard.
That is, yeah.
It'd be the greatest prediction ever. If it
I
happened.
would
If
love
it
that,
comes true,
actually.
look. If it comes true, I will
Yeah.
give you the crown no matter what the score is.
Right.
As long
Yeah.
as the other guys agree, if
Yeah, you
that
win
comes
automatically
true,
if that happens.
you
Yeah.
automatically win. As long as Brian Ultimate One say yes right now, I will give
I'll
it
let
to you
you
if
have
that
it.
happens.
If that
I'll let you
happens,
have
you
it if
can
that
have the crown.
Please
There you
let
go.
that
So
happen,
if that
because you know
happens-
what? If that happens, then this 8 minutes of yeeting at the beginning of the show and then them turning, that'll be gone if it doesn't.
Thank
That
you.
happens.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I hope it happens. But
I
don't
hope it
think
happens too. That'd be great.
So if it happens, write it down. If Jey Uso joins John Cena and helps him win, you automatically win the crown no matter what the score is.
Yeah, write it down.
I agree with that.
Yep, I agree.
TC said he'll give you his crown, whatever that may be, I guess. Lady Alpha says she may give you her crown. Everybody's going to give you a crown if you get it. You will be
she said I don't agree with that.
So I mean, I'll give you the other crown too. You
Which
can be
cat?
the ultimate emperor of the run-in if that
There
happens.
you go. There you go.
Period.
She hurt? Oh, I thought she was hurt. All right, it's fine.
You good?
Yeah, there's a cat that's been chasing our cat, and she's not acting right. So I thought she was hurt.
Okay. So I am actually going to agree with Brian. I am going to go with Randy Orton because I think it's going to be a very slow, methodical match. I've said since they announced this may be one of the longest matches. It may be the longest match in Backlash history, and they may only do about 4 wrestling moves.
It'll take 20 minutes.
Randy Orton is notoriously one of the slowest workers in the company for the last 20-something years. John Cena wasn't much better to begin with, but now with this heel character the way he did with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, he is taking a lot longer. He's moving a lot slower, whether that's because of his age or because he's just trying to be a dick. Doesn't matter. So this may be the longest match to only feature 5 wrestling moves in the history of the WWE. And I do think
so.
About 4 moves in, John Cena's either about to eat an RKO. Maybe it's after the draping DDT, vintage Orton, whatever. He stands up and thinks he's about to get RKO'd and just turns around and hits the ref and walks away.
That'd be awesome.
There would be no better way to piss off the fans. John Cena has said from day one, I am going to ruin wrestling for you.
Yep.
What better way to do that than in the second main event in a row to just shit on everybody and say it's not happening.
You know what's funny is like the IWC will go nuts. They will go crazy because there's people out there that just love good wrestling, and like good wrestling matches, and they don't really go deep enough to know that that's part of the story. Like for it to be a shit match, And like so, if it is that way, I'm gonna be so excited. I want that to happen.
And
I want them to play merry-go-round in that damn ring and don't do anything. John Cena.
And make no mistake, they're going to get good wrestling in the 4-way, and the Penta and Dom match is going to be a great match, even with the shenanigans at the end. Lyra and Becky's going to be a good match. Hell, I think Gunther and Pat could be a good match. Don't forget, Pat can wrestle. McAfee's been in the ring. He can do a lot of stuff. I don't think it's going to be a long match. I think it will be a decent match.
You'll have a lot of great matches. Until this,
I say all that to say the main event again, much like night 2 of WrestleMania, can be shit and have a really good rest of the night, and it still be fine. And it does exactly what the story's supposed to do. Triple H is more about a story than a match, or a moment than a match, and that will make the moment and the story more than having a 20-minute back and forth between Randy Orton and John Cena.
Yep.
Right.
So. This is probably gonna be one of the matches where the entrance takes longer than the whole match. All right, so when we get Randy to come out, I want someone to stop. I want to time him. All right, because I think it's gonna take 15 minutes. All right, for him to get from the entrance to that ring to do his little in front of his crowd and hometown crowd, it's gonna take about 15 minutes.
So does that include them singing his song
the whole time? Yes, they're gonna be like. The whole time, because you know how Missouri people are. All right, everybody here is in the United States. We all know how Missouri people are. They're all like, well, first of all, we have no idea if we're Midwestern or Southern. All right, and then we live too close to Arkansas.
So
I'm all for
the views expressed by Sped are not necessarily the views expressed by the Running Wrestling Podcast. We love all of our Missouri viewers. We appreciate you. We love you.
Friends out there.
And we hope you still continue to watch us after this. But yeah, he's not wrong.
No, I even got friends out there in Missouri that would be like, yeah, he's right. Hey, we have no idea what we're doing.
He needs to get censored.
He does.
So that is the entire card, ladies and gentlemen. That is everything for Backlash, and there's only 5 matches. But we do need to talk about a little bit more of a different kind of Backlash. You saw it in the thumbnail. Really, last Friday, the day after the show, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it last Friday. There were some headlines that came out. WWE did release quite a few people. We will go over a few of them. Obviously, we don't know where it's going to go. A lot of them have 30, 90-day compete clauses, except for Shotzi on here. and her contract's just going to be up. It's technically not a release, but I do want to get you guys' opinion on the releases in general, and I'll go over a few names and think where they end up. So first and foremost, Ultimate One, what do you think about the releases? Do you agree with any of them or none of them, or what did you think when you saw the news?
Well, a lot of the releases, a lot of them from NXT. I think Cora Jade was the first one that popped out of my head. Everybody was kind of surprised. I feel when it comes to Cora Jade, I think she was too instead of worrying about her doing her promos, actually getting them better, and her wrestling skills, she was worrying about much of her look. So that's one. The rest of the other people I really don't know because they NXT. I don't watch NXT, but one person out of all that whole stash that caught my eye was Braun Strowman. Now, Braun Strowman, he's been a WWE guy for probably 6-7 years, whatever. The first time before they let him go, I remember during the COVID, he kind of lashed out on the indie guys because of the COVID, whatever. He ends up going to Control Your Narrative. He takes shots at AEW. Nobody signs him. He comes back to WWE. WWE asks him, "Oh, can you do this for us? Can you put over Fatu?" Even though Fatu didn't need to be put over, but he was taking all those moonsaults from the top of the ropes, all that. He did everything only to get let go again. So that part, I'm like, okay, well, this guy came back. And he pretty much didn't really do anything as far as go for a championship, whatever. He was putting people over. But what I read today, which caught me off guard, is that I think one of his legs is like 15% paralyzed.
Yeah, that's what I was going with. Yeah, he's got nerve damage like crazy.
So supposedly it's not a they could always call him back just in case they need him for a storyline, whatever. So at the end of the day, I don't see him signing with anybody. He'll probably be sticking around. Maybe he'll do cameos or whatever. But Strowman is one of the guys that I'm like, you let the guy go the first time. You bring him back, you let him go again. Kind of feel bad because he does everything WWE asks him. He's a WWE guy from, to the end. But he's one of the guys that out of everybody from there got let go. That I feel bad for because he burned bridges before he got let go the first time. So I don't see him signing with anybody. Outside, he'll probably do cameos.
Well, I was going to say with that Braun Strowman stuff, though. Yeah. They said that his neck is a hell of a lot worse than what it really is. Like what they're putting it out there. That's why they were like, what you said, the whole, he may be coming back every now and again type of deal. That's if he's healthy. The doctors are all like, listen, your neck is not good, brother.
And he was making too much money, supposedly.
That too. Yeah, that too. I read that, but I read that his neck was one of the main factors. That it's just bad, and I feel for him. Like you, I feel for him,
So, Brian, which one of these shocked you the most?
Man, I think Dakota Kai shocks me the most, honestly. And I don't know the outside. I mean, I'm going to say something different because obviously I didn't know about the Braun Strowman stuff. So that kind of shocked me too, but he already said it. So I'm gonna say Dakota Kai just because she's very talented in many ways, and I don't feel like they used her that often or even gave her the opportunity. And like I said, I don't know the backstory of the backstage, behind the scenes stuff of what happened. There could be a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. That is the reason why they cut some of these people, right? Obviously, Cora Jade went to social media right afterwards, so there's obviously something behind the scenes there. But I don't know anything about Dakota Kai as far as the behind the scenes, so I'm kind of shocked by that. I will say, as far as where they end up, the ones that
we'll do that here in a second. I'll go through a couple of them and do that. Yeah, I know we kind of went off on that with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Sped, which release surprised you or shocked you the most?
Well, you guys are gonna find this weird, but the tag team right there, the females, right there, Katana Chance and Carter, right?
Kate Carter.
Carter.
I just find it weird that they're one of the better tag teams out there in the women's side, right? And yet they have never been, they were rarely ever used. They actually have a good tag team chemistry together. Mm-hmm. So it's like you had the same thing with the Iconics. The Iconics, they were a great tag team. You had those tag team titles. They barely got a chance with them titles. And then when you gave them titles, you did nada with them. It's the same thing with these two. Yeah, so it's kind of weird for me to think, oh, okay, they should have stayed. All right. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't like them. I kind of liked them. I like that gymnastic style that they had. All right. And another person would be my girl from Metaphor down there. All right. I love Metaphor. I love her. All right. But why are you getting rid of all, like, what's going on? Now we only got 3? What is it called? The Meta 3 now?
You only got 2. Mensa's gone too.
Oh,
yeah,
my
or
God.
Mensa, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
so
Aura.
apparently you missed NXT. Metaphor actually broke up on camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
saw
go their
that.
separate
I
ways
saw that.
before
Yeah,
this
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
So,
I knew something was up when that happened.
Mensa, I didn't put him on the screen because I only had so much room, and
Yeah.
he wasn't on TV much before this anyway.
So Meta 2.
So
Yeah.
technically, yes, you've got Lash and Noam Dar, and that's all that's left.
I love that entrance. That was a dope entrance.
It was good.
So-
It was good. And, you know, obviously something was weird about that whenever they broke up because they were a really good tag team together.
They were
Like
oh, God.
Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. I thought they were great. Like,
Yeah.
and they kept having them lose, and then all of a sudden they're just all 4 going their separate ways. Like, it just didn't make sense. So
It-
obviously
Well-
we knew something was happening.
And to me, that leads me to really one of my most surprising. There's 2 that I'll go over, but really the main one is Gigi Dolan because
Yeah.
Chemical X, her and Tatum Paxley, like Michael
Yeah.
from Kicking Out at 2, they're kind of the ones that took that spot when Lash and Jakara kind of died down. They were coming in. You know, they had Shotzi with them every now and then. Shotzi actually just did an interview on Busted Open that said she actually wanted to be part of their group till they got to the main roster, and even after that, she loved that group being together. She wanted them to stay together and let Gigi and Tatum do most of the wrestling and her kind of be a pseudo manager / leader kind of thing.
Yep.
So that one really surprised me the most. And then Cora Jade, I think when you guys mentioned it, her getting cut because she was right there in the main event scene
Yep.
a couple of weeks ago. It's not like she wasn't being used. It wasn't like anything like that. But there's one common theme with a lot of these, except for maybe Jakara and maybe Shayna, is a lot of the people that got cut had major injuries in the past year,
Mm-hmm.
where they've missed
that's true.
significant time.
Yep.
Even the Gallows guys in there, and I think it was Casey Catanzaro, the one of the Carter and
Yeah.
Caden.
know-
one of them had a big knee injury not too long ago.
It
which
was
is
the
why they
skinny,
took it off TV.
skinny girl. Can't remember her
That's
name.
Casey
Yeah.
Catanzaro is her real name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You
she's
know,
the one
Mike-
that became Caden Carter.
There's another kind of theme to this, and it could be nothing, but almost all of the females that were cut were part of a tag team.
Yep.
For the most part. And so it leads me to
Yeah.
believe that maybe they're doing away with the women's tag team titles at some point.
There's
Because
been
there are
rumors.
hardly any.
There's
like,
been
tag team.
rumors about that they've been talking about doing away with the women's tag team division titles. But to your point about Dakota Kai first, you know how many times she's been injured in the last 3 years? Even going back last 5 years. I mean,
Three to
even
five,
going back,
probably?
we're gonna keep going back. We can keep going back.
Yeah, a lot.
This lady can't stay healthy, so there's a lot of people out there like, is she worth the money? And that's where that one came from. And then I was telling you this behind the scenes, or before we even got on air. I thought it was funny that Gallus got cut. All right, they were training Dwayne.
And he means funny by weird, not funny.
Yeah,
He
not
just
in the
laughed.
laugh
yeah.
way, but like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. But like, they just trained Dwayne for a WrestleMania match, right? To get ready for WrestleMania, right? And then they get cut. Like, holy.
Yeah, but you have to
crap.
think that, and after we talked about it, I started thinking that was a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, because that was
But
for
still,
last year's WrestleMania.
Right.
They've had a lot of time to get over in the crowd since
never
then,
did.
and it just hasn't happened.
And
And
what
they-
hasn't
It doesn't shock me as much. If it had been this year's WrestleMania and they got cut, that
Yeah.
they were training for,
Didn't
that
they
would
go
be
to Evolve,
suspect.
too?
And then you gotta also
he was
understand
involved, I thought.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
far
yeah, they were
as
involved.
as far as
Go
the
ahead.
women's division in NXT, you gotta also remember that last year they brought in 2 of the top female wrestlers in the world, and one of them was Stephanie Vaquel, the other one Julia.
Yep.
And they came in and they changed the whole. And then you had Roxanne Perez, who was just dominating
Yep.
as the women's champion. So now the other girls had to step up, and a lot of them. I mean, there's one girl, Nikita Lyons. How come that
Oh,
girl hasn't gotten
yeah.
cut?
I
That girl,
said the same thing.
Yeah.
I asked
don't
the
know, man.
same thing.
why is she still there? You know what I'm saying? And then I made a podcast on this past weekend about the girl named Tekla from Stardom.
Mhm.
That
Yep.
girl is in the same level of a Mariah May, a Stephanie Vackel, and Julia. And they bring that girl in, everybody else
She's
gonna have
going
to
to
step
AEW.
up.
Well,
You know what I'm
that's the
She's
thing,
going
though.
to
She's
Yeah.
going to AEW. I think she's going to AEW. But,
She is.
but if she
They
comes to
teased it
WWE,
last night. They teased it on Dynamite last night.
Oh, yeah?
She signed with AEW.
okay.
But-
But let's say if she didn't, right? And she ends up coming into NXT. Now think about it. WWE will have the top three girls from Stardom in there in NXT. That means the other girls got to step up. And to
Yeah.
me, the way I see it, a lot of these females is all about looks, big asses, big whatever, and they're not practicing on their promos, they're not practicing in their wrestling skill. And Nikita Line, I still say, how is that girl has been hurt more than I don't know what,
man.
and she still has a job.
Well,
But I know I
mean,
said the same thing. Did I not, Big Mike? I said the
You
same
did.
thing. I was like,
and I
look,
will say this: she does fit the same criteria that we mentioned. She has been injured a good bit. You know, she hasn't been on TV a lot. The one thing that's different about her is she makes sense to go down to Evolve or over to TNA and to get some more reps, which is what she's doing. She went to Evolve last week. She's at TNA this week. And maybe that's something that they didn't think Cora Jade could do. I know she's been on TNA, so I know that's not the issue there. But maybe it's something where they were like, okay, we need you to go down to Evolve, because I did hear that could be part of it, that they wanted some of the talent to go to Evolve, and the talent were like, no, I don't think that's right for me. So maybe that again, we'll never know everything behind the scenes.
you're right.
I'm sure there's a million different reasons why each person got released or not, but that could be very well it, because I know Nikita Lyons is doing a lot of other smaller stuff, because that's one of the reasons she's not on NXT, because I don't know that she's ready.
No.
But there are a lot of women on that NXT roster that are. I mean, you mentioned Julia and Stephanie. You also have Zarya that
Jordan
just got
Grace.
signed. Jordan Grace that just got signed.
Yeah,
you have Sol Ruka, who stepped up over the last year. Kalani Jordan, who stepped up. Jada Parker, who stepped up. Lola Vice, who stepped up. That women's roster is stacked.
Ultimate One's right, though. Everyone had to step up when Julia and Valcor came in. It doesn't look. We all been talking about the Juggernaut for a while now over in TNA, but now she's putting on some damn good matches in front of millions of people on a weekly basis. All right. And she is going nuts, but she's gotten better from her TNA days to now. She has gotten better. Promo skills, in-ring work. Yes. We could talk about what happened on Tuesday with Julia. Julia kicked out, and I was like, holy crap, is she okay? But that's the style TNA is all about, is what she just did. And that's what the strong style is all about, too, making it look stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the Stardom is the same thing. It's stiffness. Everything is stiff. Everything in Japan is stiff.
And I think, honestly, and we've talked about it on our show, I think that's one of the reasons Julia took a little bit longer to get used to the American style than Stephanie did, even though they came in there on the same time. Is she had to learn how to switch up and not be as strong style oriented as she was. To where Stephanie Vacour was more on the Western side of wrestling, where she had a lot of the other showmanship and stuff like that, where it was an easier catch up. That's one of the reasons I think she catapulted quicker than she did.
Wait, just imagine when.
And obviously Julia has caught up leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Just imagine when they all catch up to the main roster. It's going to be even more wild.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be wild because, I mean, you got to remember, I mean, I know everybody had to step up to Stephanie Vaquer and Julia, but Jordan Grace was like right after they came. And then Zarya came in literally at the exact same time. Yeah. I think they debuted on the same night. I think, or at least one of them.
They all came in around one of the PLEs at the end of the year.
Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I was there for that.
They all came in and made the rest of them, you know, and so we're in for a treat with the women's division.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go around the room of the people pictured. You know, you've got Gigi, Gallus, Jakara, Cora, Dakota, the Party Girls. Do you see, and I'll start with you, Brian, do you see any of these people going to AEW? Who do you see that going to AEW the most out of everybody in the picture?
I could see Cora Jade going to AEW, just because of her words that she had with WWE and how I feel like she would just defect and go straight over that way. And listen, TNA is owned by WWE now, or at least in partnership, not owned, but in partnership. Yeah. So if she made,
depending on what rumor you read, they are
correct. Yeah. So, but either way, they're in connection with them, right? So it's like, if you burned your bridge with WWE, you're not going to TNA. Like, they're not going to sign you, so more than likely. But I think the ones that didn't burn the bridges, that still have it in the tank, even Braun Strowman, if he feels like he's got any type of thing he can do, I think he could go to TNA. And here's the reason why I feel like some of those will go to TNA if they still are in somewhat good graces with WWE, is because they can always come back for one appearance in NXT. Like, here's Braun Strowman a year later in NXT for whatever reason, right? And same thing with, Dakota Kai and a couple of the others that were on the roster for a little while that people know. Jakara Jackson, I can see her going to AEW. She wasn't bad in the ring. AEW does enjoy good wrestling in the ring. And she wasn't terrible. Gallus, I could see them going to AEW. But, I mean, it just depends on if they're going to pay them. I mean, there's a lot of wrestlers still over there. So, I don't know.
Ultimate one, where do you see any of them going? AEW, TNA?
Well, I'm going to go with probably I'm going to say 3 out of those people that Shayna Baszler, I could see her coming into AEW.
Yep.
And whatnot. Maybe be part of the Death Riders.
Yep.
And teaming up with
Marina.
Marina Shafir. They did team up with NXT back in the day. So
yep.
Well, and they were friends. They were part of the 4 Horsewomen of MMA.
Yeah, I could see that. Cora Jade, I see her in AEW. I mean, especially after the little Twitter she put, it sounded like she was real bitter about the way she got fired. Braun Strowman, I'm gonna go with what Brian said. I could see him in TNA because that guy burned a lot of bridges when he got gold the first time. So maybe he could go in there to TNA and maybe have a feud with Moose. Have a program with him there. It could do a lot of stuff with him in TNA. Or he could go to MLW. You never know. MLW is always grabbing in people, bringing them in. He could probably have a feud with Matt Kruger over there.
Oh, my God. Stop it. Kruger versus Strowman? Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Or he could go to Japan. Never know. But then again, I don't see him in Japan for the simple fact he got that 15% paralyzed thing. But I could see him. He could go to MLW and have a little feud with Matt Kruger. That could be a badass match.
Make money doing that. All right, make more money.
So on the Braun Strowman thing, I actually don't think Braun Strowman wrestles. I think he does because he's got other stuff. I realize he's got the leg issue, but he's been doing strongman competitions and all kinds of stuff where he doesn't have to take bumps, doesn't have to do all that, and he can just show off his power. He's been doing that almost his whole life or his whole adult life. He's got a lot of other things. He's got a huge following on Instagram, on things like that he can do. He can still make money and not have to wrestle, kind of the way that Baron Corbin, I know he does a little indie stuff here and there as Bishop Dyer, but I think he could do kind of the same thing and just do other things rather than wrestling. So I don't actually think he ends up anywhere. And then if they want to sign him to a quote unquote Legends deal or whatever later on to do a match here or there, they can. On the TNA side, it would not shock me. I know you guys mentioned her for AEW. I think Cora Jade does go to TNA.
I was going to.
She's already been there. She's already fought for their title. The crowd there knows who she is. I think she could go either way, but I think it makes more sense for not only her, but Jakara Jackson and Gigi Dolan, again, because they've all been on TNA TV. The TNA crowd knows who they are. I think TNA would be dumb not to sign them because they all got pops in TNA. As far as AEW, I honestly think Shayna Baszler, that was probably the biggest one that I thought. And Dakota Kai. I think Dakota Kai ends up in AEW. I know they've already shown interest in her, as has TNA, but I think she fits better in AEW with her style. I think that more sports-based style will fit her better, so she can highlight all the kicks and things like that, which is what made her big on the indies before she got signed. Gallus, I actually think may be the ones that go to Japan. Like you mentioned, for you thought Braun Strowman. I think Gallus would do good over there in New Japan for a little bit. I'm pretty sure they were over there before. I'm not as familiar with New Japan, but I'm pretty sure they've been over there, so they'd be familiar with that. Shotzi to me is the wild card. I don't really know where Shotzi would go. She's been on TNA. She has a lot of friends in AEW. She has a lot of stuff outside of wrestling that she does. Her and Scarlett have a YouTube channel that has a ton of followers and a ton of subscribers where they go do paranormal investigating at haunted places and stuff like that. She could focus on that. She could do a ton of different things. She actually has a theater background if she wanted to try to do acting more. She has a ton of stuff she could do. So while I think she is wrestling, she's probably the one that I couldn't guess the most on, just because it's kind of up in the air for her. But I know she's going to land on her feet wherever she goes. Sped, what do you think?
I agree with you on the Dakota Kai and Shayna stuff. I think they go to AEW. It's best fit for both of them. Yeah. But Braun Strowman's going back to the arm wrestling and doing what he does best, throwing axes at stuff, stuff like that. He's that paralyzedness in his leg and his neck being as bad as it is. He's done. I get it. And I understand why they did what they did. They're very worried about his health. And I am too. If they're worried about his health, then Sped's worried about his health too. Okay. But the ones that I could see splitting up would be the tag team on here, Katana Chance and Carter. I see one of them going to AEW, and I think it might be Chance, and Carter going to TNA. And Gigi,
I never know which one's which, but Casey Catanzaro, the smaller girl from Ninja Warrior,
yes,
she could very easily never wrestle again. And
that's true. 100%.
She's in that category to me too. She doesn't have to wrestle. She's got other stuff going on. She had other business stuff when she was doing Ninja Warrior. She could go in there and be a celebrity for Ninja Warrior and be a host or something with everything she's learned. So I mean, and
were they part of that whole NIL stuff?
No, they were there before NIL.
Yeah, they got
before
there
that really got big.
Yeah,
they recruited Casey Catanzaro from Ninja Warrior.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And then the other girl, I cannot remember her name before the tag team, but she was actually trained by the Dudleys, I believe. She was in that school.
Well, that's isn't that Damian Priest's wife or girlfriend?
I don't know that they're dating. They're very good friends. They do a lot of videos together. Like he's always on her TikTok and things like that. So I know they're very good friends. I don't know if they're romantically involved or not.
And they were in a house together. I don't know. Last one I saw, so I don't know. I thought they were. I thought they were together. So
I see Cora Jade being the next Knockouts champion, though.
That's possible.
Wow.
No, Cora Jade. Look, last year she was in the run for the NXT Women's Championship, then got hurt, and then came back with airbags. Okay, instead of working on her work, like promo skills and in ring, like you once said. All right, she came back with airbags, and that's all she cared about. And the whole body shaming thing, I think, is just a ploy. Like you did it to yourself. At that point,
I don't know, man. WWE is notorious for that, and
get that.
That business is very visual.
Yes, so, I understand that, but you can't just.
I'm not going to say she's
automatically start bitching about. Well, if I'm fired now, I can say what I want. Look, freedom of speech tells you that you can say whatever the fudge you want to say, no matter what the hell it's all about. If your employer is being an asshole, you call out that employer for being an asshole. It doesn't matter. You could go to AEW. You could go to TNA, MLW.
That's good in theory, though. In practice, not so much.
Yeah, because nobody has a voice. Everybody's scared. That's probably why I don't freaking do well at work. I would tell the boss in a heartbeat, go fuck yourself.
Yes. This is why you need to work for yourself.
I'll tell that boss
100%.
Go fuck yourself.
Which is one of the reasons it surprises me you made it through all your years in the military that you didn't tell somebody else that, and they just say, get the hell out.
I did. I told one guy to go fuck himself once, and I had to do 150 push-ups right then and there.
So there you go.
There you go.
And the
Great.
No
corporate
matter where
world and
any
the
of them
corporate-
end up.
I told that dude. He told me to go. I remember this shit too. He told me to go cut the grass out front because I was back talking. I was 17, 18 years old at the time, and he told me to go cut the grass out front with some scissors. I told him go fuck himself. I was like, who the fuck are you? Go fuck yourself. You know. And he took off his jacket. E7. I was like, fuck.
All right. So ultimately, when you were going to say something before that last little rant,
I say in the corporate world, if you can't talk back to the bosses, because I mean, if they telling you to do something, that's what you got to do because you're getting paid for it. So, you may not like it, and if you step up and say something, you're gonna lose your job, especially in WWE. So,
there
or
are very few
they
days that
put you in the back in the catering, either one.
there are very few days at my job that I don't bite my tongue and not let smartass come out. So there's definitely a line there that you don't cross. And now that she does have the freedom, I'm glad she's.
The other day, you texted me the other day, and I was angry. Remember, because that dude messed up 4 different times on the same damn chicken. 4 times he gave me undercooked chicken to give to the people. All right, I'm a chef. All right, I'm a chef. All right, so you fuck up chicken 4 times. Guess who's yelling at you? All right, I yelled so loud.
But was that your boss?
No, he was the boss's son.
I
don't care.
To you, brother.
I don't care. All right, you mess up chicken, you're killing people. That's just fact. You undercooked chicken, you're killing people. You deserve to get yelled at.
I love this podcast. We go from wrestling to chicken.
Hey, the run-in is not just a wrestling term. We will run into any scenario you need us to.
I see that. Now we're running into chickens.
We love it.
But to bring it all back together, no matter where these guys and gals end up in their career, we hope they are where they are happy. Hope they get to make a living and enjoy. If they want to wrestle, hopefully they keep wrestling. If they want to do something else, hopefully they're able to do that. And everybody ends up on their feet because no matter who it is, even as much as I despise Eddie Thorpe, I hope the guy ends up on his feet after he got cut. I didn't put him on there because I didn't want to talk about him too much. But if you watch this podcast, you know I don't like Eddie Thorpe. And I did want to see the guy get fired. But I still hope he ends up somewhere and he's happy. And maybe I'll like his next gimmick. Who knows?
He already said he's going to be a DJ.
What you guys think? I did a podcast tonight about the whole Alberto Del Rio. Supposedly, as they're not sure. Some people say he signed with WWE. Others say they didn't. What do you think about Alberto Del Rio probably showing up at NXT or SmackDown or Raw?
I don't think he will.
Isn't he the AAA champion right now?
He is. He is the AAA heavyweight champion.
But I also read something about that. Coming from Meltzer, it said most likely he did sign with WWE, but he's only going to stay in the Mexican market, which means you're not going to see him at SmackDown or Raw. But another report.
I think
that he could. I don't know.
I think they bought AAA, so ultimately WWE he is kind of, I guess, under the WWE umbrella.
He is, yes, because they bought him.
So I think that's where it kind of gets like misskewed, you know. I'll think about that because he technically does work for WWE already because they bought the company.
Yeah, well, that's what's funny.
So the story said that he has re-signed though.
Yeah,
no.
I've seen the story he's talking about. The story says he has re-signed with WWE.
Yeah,
and that may be true in the fact again he may have just re-signed with AAA because there may have already been a deal in place when the WWE deal happened that they have to honor. But there's no way with everything that's happened with that guy, and I say this, and I may look stupid in a month when he shows up at SmackDown, but I don't think there's any way that they put him on US on TV. I don't think they let him stay on AAA that long. I think they may let him work out his contract. If not, just put him in catering and then let him go after that quietly and quickly as much as possible.
Here's another thing that a lot of people are not talking about. And it's this whole situation he had with Stephanie Vaquel.
Yeah.
She had an order of protection against him. So, I mean, you just have Stephanie Vaquel as the NXT champion. Are you willing to risk that, bringing in this guy, or having Stephanie Vaquel go to Mexico, defend the belt over there, and she bumps into him? So it's just he said type shit, you know?
From what I've gathered from all this, it's just what Big Mike said. They not really signed him. They bought the company, and he's part of that acquisition, just like, everybody else that, we've seen,
Like what happened to WCW? Same thing.
Yes, basically same thing. And then how they let some of those guys, even Sting, ride it out, ride your contract out. You don't even have to show up. And I don't think you're gonna let Alberto Del Rio come back when your best female, potentially your best female right now, Stephanie Vacour, has a restraining order on the man, and all the stuff that he's done in his past. Look at the Dream. Look at Velveteen Dream. That dude was phenomenal in ring, had the mic, had the body, everything.
Fantastic.
Right? But then he fudged up on the outside, and nobody wants him. The only reason why AAA wants Del Rio is because Del Rio is a former WWE champion, and he could be a center point of the AAA program.
And
right?
let's not forget. So Soraya is out there as a free agent, and after she left AEW, she did say there's a possibility she would like to come back.
Yep.
Now,
and
if
they keep him around, there's no way she comes back. There's no way she signs a Legends deal, does the Hall of Fame like she should.
No.
With that in place, it would cost WWE too much in the future. For any kind of pop like that now.
Yeah.
Although in the past, WWE has been tone deaf, bringing a lot of people in that they shouldn't have.
This is Triple H era.
Yeah,
though,
but remember in the past, where they were.
I'm sorry. Did you watch the Netflix premiere where they brought Hulk Hogan's old ass out there and got booed out?
Yeah,
of the
but this
they did.
Fucking,
I'm just saying.
This isn't him being on the ring every week.
This situation is kind of different because they're on the TKO. Do you think Aaron Emanuel is going to have that type of shit where he's going to put his his company in that type of situation, bring a guy who is known for beating women or whatever the case may be? It's not going to be a good look for them. So and that's also going to hurt them in the stocks. So
I agree.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're very strict in the UFC department with that there. You beat children, you mess up with women, you're done. And that's what I think TKO is trying to give WWE. Look, again, the Velveteen Dream is the only guy I can bank off of from recent memory right now, because he just popped up as well, saying everybody's talking about me. Nobody's talking about you, buddy, except for right now.
Well, we are. So you can't really say that. You brought his name up a couple times now.
You did.
Well, that was before. If you didn't bring his own name up, I would have never brought him up. I probably would have brought up that Jackson Ryder guy or whatever.
Which means congratulations, you did exactly what he wanted you to do.
What's his name? Was it Jackson Ryder, the dude who got kicked out of WWE before Vince left?
Yeah, somebody like that.
He was a Marine or whatever, and then he got kicked out.
Somebody like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Jackson Ryder. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. So, and real quick, we do have a Twitter post of the week, and it's going to be the real quick answer. We don't normally promote tribalism and things like that in here, but there was an interesting Twitter spat between a WWE superstar and an AEW star. And my question is, we will go over what was said. You tell me who won the War of Words. So Ricochet was talking about learning from Shawn Michaels when Javon Evans was 12, went on to become a multiple-time champion. Javon Evans clapped back. And then that he's only wrestling in front of 2,000 people. Hopefully can you guys read it? Is it?
I went to Georgia.
I
went to Georgia schools. All right. I think that says.
Well, that just means you can't read anyway. It doesn't matter whether it's how big or small it is. That's a whole different story. Ultimate one, I'll start with you while Brian tries to read it. Who do you think won the Twitter War of Words?
Oh, listen. The way I'm looking at this is, Javon, even though that sounded a little bit of a Javon comes out losing out of that. You know why? Because see, he got baited by Ricochet. Ricochet has been going around, I don't know, for the last couple of months, just baiting people to back and forth with Twitter. Now, he just called Tony Khan a crackhead, right? Now, God forbid tomorrow he gets let go out of NXT, right? Now, where you gonna go? You're gonna go to TNA? Or you want to be in the big leagues, right? So the other big league is AEW or Japan. So now you just call the boss a cracker. You think he's gonna hire you? So at that point, his Twitter is a nice comeback, but you kind of burning bridges. You got to watch what you say on Twitter because that might come back and bite you in your ass because now you get fired. Where you going to AEW? You gonna try to get no? But you just call the boss a crackhead.
Yeah.
So,
No, you're 100% right on that one.
Sped, continue. Who do you think won the War Awards?
He's right. he got baited in. Evans definitely got baited. You can show. Look, he may be the young OG, but he is young, and he showed his age right here. All right, you're right. It could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever you put right here could get you in trouble in X amount of years. All right, that crackhead stuff. We get what Tony Khan likes to do, extra, curricular activities, whatever. Do what you do, buddy. All right, Scarface did the same thing. Look where he's at. All right. Now,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Please don't sue us, Tony.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. We're allegedly everything right now.
If you want to come on the podcast and tell your story, Tony Khan, you are more than welcome to come on here and tell your side. We welcome everybody here on the Run In podcast. So you are more than welcome, Tony Khan, to come on and tell your side of the story.
But Ricochet just, I don't know, man. This heel run that he's on, he's bringing it over to Twitter. Sounds like a 13-year-old kid trying to piss everybody off on GTA. That's what it sounds like to me. He's just some kid that's on there that, I'm going to shoot you with a rocket because I can. Now you guys are going to get rage quitting and rage mad. That's what he sounds like.
You mean Javon, right? Not Ricochet, or do you mean Ricochet?
Ricochet sounds like that the last few months with his whole baiting people.
So
bullshit.
Are you saying Javon won this little feud?
No.
I'm
saying Ricochet baited his ass in like he said, Ultimate One said. But I'm making fun of Ricochet for the last few months for being a little baby.
Okay, because I was very confused because you said Javon Evans lost, but then you said Ricochet sounded like a 13-year-old in GTA, which sounds like a loss.
Both of this. He is a loss. He's teaming up with the Young Bucks. That's a definite loss.
Brian, make some sense out of this shit. Who won? Who lost?
First off, before I tell you who won, I got to say, as much as people don't like Ricochet, he's been more relevant in AEW in the past, since he's been there, than he ever was in WWE. So, what he's doing now is working. Whether it's annoying or people hate it or they don't like it, it's working, right? And so, I think this whole thing with the Twitter thing, I think he won this. For one, Javon Evans doesn't have a whole lot. When he basically just restated what Ricochet says here, and then says that he's wrestling in front of 2,000 people. Well, I'm sorry, Javon, but currently you are also wrestling for
400,
maybe less, right?
400, maybe 400,
unless it's a PLE.
Yeah,
right,
unless it's a PLE. Yeah,
it's less than 2,000. So he's actually wrestling less until he actually makes it on the main roster, which has not happened yet and isn't guaranteed. So, Ricochet 100% won this. And Javon Evans, man, I love the kid. I think he's going to be great. He's fantastic in the ring, but he's got to learn. You can't be doing stuff like this, man.
You got baited. Right.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. So Ricochet won this, in my opinion.
So I'm actually going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say Javon Evans won this for the simple fact we all killed, or I say we all, I didn't. Most people killed Seth Rollins a few years ago when him and Will Ospreay went at it because of things he said, because people perceived Seth Rollins as the bigger star at that point because he was more well-known. And why would you, in WWE people, let me put it more that way. This is Ricochet, who's supposed to be not necessarily the top talent, but one of the top guys in AEW, on that upper mid-card to main event level, punching down to a kid from NXT. So did he win maybe just the war of actual words? Probably. But Javon Evans just got more pub out of this than he has in any promo he's cut, anything he's done. So in the long run, Javon Evans won this because more people are talking about Javon Evans than would have been if this did not happen. We're still going to talk about Ricochet because he's still on the card. He's still on TV every week, on TBS, TNT, Max, whatever they're on at this point in time. Javon Evans may or may not be on NXT week to week. He was just in a Battle Royal, didn't win that. And now we're all talking about Javon Evans because of this feud. So in the long run, Javon Evans won this War of Words.
You're right about that because he even came out and said, I got the most views because of you on this, off of X and stuff like that. And he did say thank you to him. All right. So he wasn't being a straight a-hole to him. The young OG did say thank you to Ricochet. All right.
Yeah, but to me, I think he got baited. He got baited because this is going to come bite him in the ass 5 years from now. Whether the War of Words was won by him or not. Again,
honestly,
he could get let go tomorrow, and then
5 years, 5 weeks from now, Tony
Nobody's
Khan's not
gonna
going to look
remember
at this one Twitter comment and say,
No.
if he's talented enough, Tony Khan's not
That's
going
a
to look at
lot.
this and say, we're not going to hire you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how a lot of people are. Yeah, I agree with that.
Not only that, but like
Look at everything
Obviously-
CM Punk said about
obviously-
WWE. Look at everything
Yeah.
everybody else. You're going
Look
through
at
it with Chris
Luger.
Jericho now, who may come back. Everything else that people have said about these companies.
Look at Luger.
If
Luger
you've
was-
got talent and you can make a money, they don't give a crap.
Luger was
Right.
never going to get in the Hall of Fame. Look at him.
Yeah.
All of the stuff that he's ever done in his life. And
and maybe the crackhead response technically is maybe not the most professional thing that he could have said, but you have to think of the audience of this Twitter and the IWC. I mean, think of how many more WWE fans there are than there are AEW fans, and most of the people on Twitter and the IWC were going to see that, and they're just going to laugh. I mean, they're going to think that's funny. It's not like that's not hateful. They don't care about that. They're just going to see that and they're going to laugh. They're going to think it's funny. They're going to, they're going to comment.
And-
There's going to be memes and shit, that are in the comments.
And again,
He's getting more publicity from this. So you're right. You're right, Big Mike.
and Javon being a kid, man, I can't tell you how many people I've called Sped a crackhead.
Yep.
And is Sped a crackhead? No, he doesn't do crack, but he acts like a crackhead sometimes. So I've used that word too, to not mean exactly what it is. And that could have very well been it. And he could have very well explained that. If Tony Khan says, well, what is this? And you go, man, that's just how I talk. I mean, you kind of spaz out. So I called you a crackhead. That's what you look like.
he could have called it
Regardless
out.
of any rumors behind the scene or anything, I use that word to
Yeah.
about a little kid that's being spazzed out with his parents pitching a fit, saying he's acting like a little crackhead.
He's acting like a little crackhead. Yep. Yeah, he's 100% right. But no, he didn't call him a coke addict. He didn't straight up go for the jugular. Okay, he just called him a crackhead. Like everybody usually calls people. If you're being dumb, you're a crackhead. Yeah.
Thank you for stopping yourself.
Yeah.
I did.
Right.
I had
I
to.
appreciate that.
I had to.
Yeah.
Again, I see. Like, there's certain like
And any chance we ever have of getting monetized, thank you.
exactly. That's why I stopped.
All right. So moving on, we have one more before we get to the final word. It is our matchmaker, Sped. I'm going to let you go over this. This is your baby.
Okay.
Take over it. And who do we have in the matchmaker this week?
We got, and I have this written down. We got Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, LWO. We got, that's WWE. Then we got the AEW Lucha Bros, Penta and Rey Fenix. Then we got TNA's LAX, Santana and Ortiz, one of my favorites. And then a makeshift, because I was like, okay, let me get something going. Ring of Honor's Bandito, and I'm gonna fudge this name up. Flamita, I want to say.
Flamita, yeah, I know what Flamita is.
Yes, I said it right. I put all these guys together. Okay, fatal 4-way. It's a tornado match. All right, everybody's in the ring at one time. All right,
Good Lord.
who do you got winning and why? I'll go last.
Since none of it, no, you're going to go first because you're the
Okay.
one that's had the most time to think about it, and then we
Well,
will
then it's
we will
Penta.
think about it and tell who we did.
The Lucha Bros, because they're the only ones that, besides Santana and Ortiz, those two are the only two that are more defined than any of them. They're both brothers. They've both been a tag team for a while. Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, to TNA, to AEW. Everywhere they've gone, they have been champion together. All right? I think they win. They beat, LWO. That's who takes the pin. I think Santana Ortiz will rekindle some of that magic that they had together when they were at LAX and also when they were with Chris Jericho back, in the early days of AEW. Don't get it twisted. You got two really phenomenal wrestlers in Bandito and Flamita right there, but they're not a real tag team. Okay? They're a makeshift. Yo, hold on real quick. Thank you for the raid, Poke. Hell yeah, we just got raided. But I do think that the Lucha Bros win this. Severo Miedo. That's it. And LWO, because they suck, take the pin. Yeah, we got to follow. What's up, Woodstick? Is that Stick? Yeah.
Ultimate one. Who do you got?
I got LAX. I got LAX pinning Flamita and Bandito.
Nice.
You can't count on Mysterio. That's Dragon Lee, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't count on. I think that'll be a good battle between Dragon Lee and Mysterio against LAX. I mean, of course, LAX and the Lucha Bros. They got a rich history that goes back TNA and got Mexico and all that stuff. But I'm going up with LAX pinning Flamita for the simple fact that Bandito and Flamita never teamed up. So the energy, the chemistry is not there. So I'll take LAX.
Brian, who you got?
LAX.
You know, he stole it from me because I'm going to take LAX. And look, I loved the Lucha Brothers. Loved them. And I still do. I still love them separately. And I can't wait till they're together in WWE. So, but they won't take the pin. I think LAX wins, and only because obviously if this is a tornado tag, there's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff happening. And they know how to get they know how to get hardcore. And I think they would find a way to win this. I think that they pin Rey Mysterio because he's older and he's a veteran and he's slower than the rest of these right now. So I think they pin Rey Mysterio. But I think the Lucha Brothers they get real close.
Okay. Man, this is hard.
This is a good one, isn't
It's
it?
difficult.
It is. I like it. So I'm going to go Lucha Brothers as well. I love LAX, loved them in TNA. I could care less about the LWO. And again, much like we've said, Sped's thrown together tag team is just that. It's just a throw together tag team. There's no way, no matter how good both wrestlers are on their own, they can gel together against 3 tag teams that are much more experienced, and maybe not the LWO, maybe 2 tag teams that are much more experienced in the LWO who have some experience together.
Joaquin Wild.
And then obviously with the Lucha Brothers, and I'm going to go more recent here, they don't hate each other. If I'm not mistaken, LAX hate each other now. So I don't know how much they would get along in the ring. So I am going to go with the Lucha Brothers just because they're the only tag team that's been together for any long period of time and don't want to kill each other. So Santana and Ortiz turn on each other. The other 2 guys, the Bandito and Mito, I think you said his name was, who I'm not even familiar with. Mita. Obviously they can't coexist because they don't know each other very well. It comes down to the Lucha Brothers and the LWO, and the Lucha Brothers will probably happen at some point, really, in WWE. Lucha Brothers pin LWO, probably drag me, and then take the win.
From what I read, though, Bandito and Flamita have tag teamed in the past, but not to the significance of the rest of the 3 tag teams.
I'm sure they have.
That would have been nice for you to tell me before I went on this whole rant that they've never tagged together. I appreciate that.
Well, it's not like these guys. But I was going to pick LAX out of all this until I remembered that Ortiz and Santana hate each other.
Well, this could be at any point in time. I'm taking when they were together.
Yeah, no. I would take them when they were together.
Well, and I just wanted to be different, so that's why I did that because nobody else had mentioned it yet, and I had to find a way to work it in there. So
I loved
to be a little different.
I loved LAX. I thought LAX was a phenomenal tag team or a phenomenal group. I'm sorry. What's going on? Georgia Bulldog football.
What's going on? What's good? That's Randy from How About Them Dogs Football Cast, a great podcast. They come on Wednesday night. They are a Georgia football podcast. A lot of great knowledge if you're a Georgia football fan or just a college football fan, man. He has a great podcast. He is actually doing a lot of stuff for podcasters as well. He's been in the media business forever. And so he's actually taken the time now to help other YouTubers and podcasters. Go check out his Instagram or his Twitter. It's the HBTF Dogs Cast. So if you want to help with your YouTube, help reaching out to be a better creator, things like that behind the scenes, the guy has a wealth of knowledge and he's willing to share it. So hit him up. He's got some seminars coming up that he's doing. Really great guy. He's helped him. He's helped me out a lot. I know he's helped out Herb and Raj a lot. So check him out. We appreciate you coming in, Randy. Thank you, man. But yeah, that's the last main topic of our show, the matchmaker.
Wow.
We will go around before we hit the final word. Ultimate one, tell everyone where they can find you and where to see your show.
Well, you guys can find me on YouTube, but also you'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I'm on twice a week with shows on Sundays and sometimes on Thursdays, so you can check it out. If you miss any of the episodes, go to the channel, subscribe, and I will appreciate it. Thank you.
Brian, tell them where they can find you.
Man, you can only really find me during football season. I kind of hibernate, outside of there and just show up here and there. So, during football season, you can find me on a show Enough Divided. Who knows what day it'll be? It seems like it's a different day every football season, but whenever that season starts, then we'll get that day and time for you guys.
So off topic, how are your girls looking in the tournament? Are they still
Look
in
good.
the softball tournament?
Yeah, they look good. They won today. They get to play Arkansas, which will be fun because that's Patty and her other son. Her other son is the hitting coach for Arkansas, so it'll be fun to see them. I think they've already played this season, and we won. I think
I'm sure they played
all 3 games. So, but Arkansas is playing really well right now. So we'll see. Texas escaped.
I wish we could say the same thing at Alabama, but Sped, sore subject. Sped, tell them where they can find you, brother.
Just type in Sped Rock, right? SP3D ROCK, and you're good. That's me. That's the only one in the world. What's up? And look for the Phoenix. All right, just look for it.
Maybe my favorite promo of all time. Just type in Sped. It's me.
just type it in.
I'm not worried about all your other social media crap or all your. There's no one like me. Just type it in and it's done.
You know how they used to do RVD? It's SP3D. All right.
I liked it. The other one when he just said, "Just Google me."
Just
didn't say anything else.
That's all you have to do. Just Google it. Sped Rock. Put the 3 in there so that way you know.
I am not that lucky. You can find me everywhere at _Big Mike 27 or Big Mike 27 on a few platforms. I want to say Blue Sky, whatever. I think I'm on there. I haven't been on there in a minute. Threads, things like that, where they don't allow me to have at _Big Mike 27. But yeah, anywhere else at _Big Mike 27. Search the Run in Wrestling Podcast. If you're not already on our page, go check us out, the Run in Wrestling Podcast. Give us a subscribe. We are up to 173 on the way to 200 subscribers. And we love you guys in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for showing up in the chat. Could not do it without you. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to the Ultimate One. And so with that, I will turn it over to Sped for Sped's final word of the night.
All right, listen, it's just a promo. If you want to go to any AEW event, all right, and you're a veteran or first responder, scan these 2. Scan one of the 2. If you're a veteran, scan the top. If you're a first responder, scan the bottom. Look, they're not free. They're not free tickets. Nothing in life is free, okay? There's always a catch, right? You pay $15 to $16 for 4 tickets. You get really good seats. I don't care where you're at. You could be a hockey game like I did, and we had phenomenal seats at DC at Capital One Arena, all right? We saw the Capitals play, and it was Capitals Toronto. Tickets were $145 each. We got 2 tickets for $13. All right. 2 tickets, $13. All right. And we got really good seats. And I was talking to other veterans and other first responders that were there as well. All right. It's not just 1 or 2 tickets they give away. They give away 200, 300. They give away a buttload of tickets to these veterans. All right. AEW has been on the front for this. If you're a wrestling fan and you love wrestling or you love baseball, you love it because baseball season's here. All right, you're a first responder and you live in New York, you can go watch the Yankees. 4 tickets, $16. All right, that's not even a joke. Yankee tickets are expensive, son. All right, I know because I've been to old Yankee Stadium. All right, and they were expensive. For one,
worse.
The new one is worse. I've seen the tickets for that. But I'm saying though, you guys love baseball, you love football. Wait till football season. You're a first responder or a veteran. Use these links because VetTix is giving out great seats, concert tickets. They're giving out 3-star Michelin tickets. All right. So you want to get a night out with the wife? You can get into the Michelin place without having to get a reservation because of these people. All right. Because of this site. So use these 2 right here. They're meant for everybody who's a first responder. We love you guys and we love the veterans out there too. So thank you guys. This is for y'all. And that's it for me.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.